Hey Aquarius, welcome back to the Herb Lady. I hope this video finds you guys as well as can be with all of the fluctuating times that are taking place these days. I know today, on the day that I'm recording this, they're experiencing riots in DC right now. All of, you know, I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, this is you guys' year ahead spread for the year of 2021. Happy New Year to you guys, and I hope all of you guys' year started off on an incredible note, especially with the grand conjunction having taken place in your sign, Aquarius. We already know that Aquarius season is about to be lit. You guys are the water bearers, the great collectors, the great collective, the one who sees up outside of themselves on a level that most humanity is, not quite capable of on your level. You're, second to none to Pisces, who ultimately sees it all on an emotional level outside of themselves. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into your reading here. We're going to start with 4 different oracle cards here. I'm going to do an elemental read, which is the element of the year, the theme of the year as far as element wise for Aquarius. And then we're going to do kind of a glimpse into what to expect with your love life. Just, one of the romance angels oracle cards. We're going to pull one card. We're going to pull a card for a positive message, and then we will pull a card for a message from Saturn. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So you guys have to work with me on my elements deck. It's a newer deck to me. Still learning all the meanings to all of the cards. So I'm going to give you guys my interpretation first, and then I'm going to read off the book's interpretation of the card, okay? So I need one card for Aquarius for 2021. Alrighty. Let me just grab the book here. Okay, so you guys got lake, or depth. And as you can see here in the card, this is a woman who's underwater, and on the surface you see this castle. It's kind of hidden in a valley, and this lake, and it's so much more deeper than it appears. So I feel like, Aquarius, for you guys, everything, you guys must do an inspection under the surface with any and everything that you deal with in this upcoming year. And then you must inspect your own emotions, because emotionally, your emotions can probably hold much more depth and be much more connected to events that have taken place in your life in the past and are affecting you in the present. So you are going to have to assess your emotions, assess situations, assess people, places, things, because even though you guys are air sign and you can so easily take your mind between present, past, and future, sometimes you may have to do a little bit further evaluation of the past, because this is water energy here. And, still waters often run very deep. And even in this card, she is taking the time up underneath the water in order to examine herself. And even the castle here, part of the castle is underwater. If you guys can see, it's like you're really going to have to evaluate and assess, what it is, places that you're entering, spaces, thoughts that you're entering into, and assess where it is that is coming from and how that's going to affect you in the long run, Aquarius. So let's take a look at this card. So this card says, do not take the shallow alternative. Deep dive. Do the research. Do not cut corners. You may not be seeing the whole picture, so take your time with the decision. So you guys, this is definitely stressing not to rush into a decision without all of the information, or to not make decisions based off of the limited information you may have, or assumptions that you may be making because you feel like you're correct, or you feel like you're coming from the right place. So it says lakes are natural, self-contained bodies of water, not connected with an ocean. They have their own ecosystems and often contain their own endemic species. Most have at least one stream or river directing the flow outwards. The different classifications of lake include glacial, tectonic, fluvial, and shoreline, and those formed with meteorites hitting the earth. As they are often freshwater, historically lakes have attracted human occupancy as they are a water source. On Earth, most lakes were formed in the higher northern latitudes, although there are notable exceptions in Africa. Spiritually, lakes have been places of magic and power. Lake Wakana in New Zealand is said to breathe in and out with the giant that lies underneath it. Lake Baikal in Siberia, sometimes referred to as the Sacred Sea, is the largest source of fresh water in the world, containing over 20% of the world's unfrozen fresh water, over 630 kilometers long. Baikal is very deep and its waters are very clear and contains over 3,000 unique species. One common shamanic practice is offering of a small amount of vodka in certain sacred spots. It is also believed that something should be thrown into any fire you light as an offering to the spirits. It is said that if you bathe here or in other lakes such as Lagerflot in Iceland, you will receive healing energies from the pure and ancient waters. So Aquarius, some of you guys might be in need of a trip to the lake, probably to go sit out by some water, because you guys are, even though you're an air sign, you guys are known as the water bearers. You bear a lot of emotion. You are the ones that are able to interconnect humanity on an emotional level from a still detached point of view, so that, you know, everything can flow without interference of your own emotions. But at the same time, your emotions still must be considered when you are dealing with personal issues, that personal things that contain to you, Aquarius. Okay, so that is your elemental card. You may want to consider looking at things a little bit more carefully, a little bit more beneath the surface. People, places, things, emotions, thoughts, and then also maybe taking a visit to a lake in order to kind of let off some steam and be around water and observe nature and observe the way that the lake moves, observe the way that the lake cares for itself and all the species that rely on it. So that is, you know, your elemental read for 2021. Let's go ahead and get into your sneak peek at love for 2021. We're going to pull one Romance Angels card. Okay. One card for Aquarius for 2021. One card for Aquarius for 2021. Okay. Alright. Attraction. It says, you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. This is my smell the roses card, to stop and smell the roses. You guys could possibly, in 2021, it's going to enable you to really be able to come up outside of your head and emotions and whatnot, to be able to take a moment to really stop and smell the roses and be observant about, be present in the present moment, fully present, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, just being present and really taking a moment to smell the roses, being appreciative And, you know, it's like, I feel like with doing that, for any of you all, whether you are in a committed relationship or you are single, that's going to attract more romantic feeling, it's going to create more romantic feelings within you, because you have an appreciation for life. You're taking time out to stop and smell the roses, to appreciate the moment, to observe everything around you, and gain more of an appreciation for life and for your current circumstance. No matter how bad things are or how bad they seem to be, there is always something in the situation to appreciate. There's always something around you or within you or how you're handling something to appreciate. And when you reset your mind from a place of, you know, attitude to gratitude, where you're grateful, you are able to literally change the things that you attract towards you, and change the level of attraction which you present to people, okay? Because people, you know, they're attracted to your spirit before they're attracted to anything else. And, you know, regardless of how you look, you can be the most beautiful person with the most fucked up spirit and wonder why nobody sticks with you for too long, you know? So that's something to consider. So now we're going to do a positive message for Aquarius for 2021. A positive message for Aquarius for 2021. One positive message for Aquarius for 2021. Okay. All right. It says, I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And I feel like this goes very closely with, you know, your past 3 cards already. You have depth, which means that you're looking at things up underneath the surface. And in order for us to be able to observe that which is in front of us, the deeper surface of that, you know, you have to be present and aware of what is in front of you, taking a moment to smell the roses and really observe the present moment. And then, you know, with that, being present and being aware is really what's going to get you closer to consciousness, because to be conscious is to be aware. You know, to be aware of that which you were not aware of before, Aquarius. So you guys, I feel like this is definitely going to be a year of that forces you all to be present, and it forces you to really integrate your deeper self into the present moment. You know, it's like you're going to experience probably a lot of emotional fluctuation this upcoming year. There might be some emotional turnaround that's taking place, but it is okay. Allow it to happen so that it can help you with the lesson of learning how to be present and how to be aware, okay? Because with being present and aware, you guys will be able to look at situations for what they really are, so that you don't get caught up in the momentum of things, and you're just looking back confused, like what happened and why did it happen, okay? So let's go ahead and pull a tarot card as a message from Saturn, because, you know, Saturn has 2 cards for you guys. All right. Yeah, Saturn is definitely asking for you guys to put in the work on being aware and being present. Put you guys yourself into a meditative state, as this boy is right here. He is in a state of meditation. And one of the things about meditation is that it forces us to be present and aware in the moment, because we sit with ourselves. We sit in silence with ourselves, and we are observant of ourselves. We're observant of our breath. We're observant of our thoughts, but we simply observe. We don't try to do anything about it. We don't try to fix it in the moment. We're not trying to quiet our thoughts. We're not trying to quiet our mind. We're just there existing with ourselves. So Aquarius, you guys are being urged with Eight of Pentacles to put in the work on being present and aware within yourselves, okay? Because that is really the vital force that's going to get you through. Saturn really is asking for you guys to do that, to really have an increased awareness of self so that you guys can, get through the year and be able to avoid, going into, condemned places, condemned emotions, being with condemned people who are halfway drowned out by their own shit. Okay? So that was the oracle portion of your reading so far. Let's go ahead and get into the tarot portion. I'm going to just do a quick shuffle. So, quick shuffle. Okay. And for you guys, your song for this upcoming year was Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. When I went to go sit down and really think about your song, the song that came up was Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. So, it's interesting because that is the song that is commonly used to teach CPR classes. That's usually the tempo of the beat, Staying Alive. That's the amount of tempo that's used in order to do chest compressions on people who are experiencing cardiac arrest. So you guys may want to go and check that song out, because spiritually you can experience a cardiac arrest. You can experience, when your heart chakra, when that emotional flowing energy kind of locks up or it becomes too blocked and you're not getting that flow. So you may want to think about that in the sense of, I'm getting it in the sense of, this really is about doing resuscitation on your heart chakra, on your emotional capacity this year. That's really why. Okay, so with that song, the Bee Gees, what you guys really want to think about is the fact that you may need to do a little bit of CPR on your own hearts, on your own emotional capacity, and really take a deep look, going back to that card, depth. Look at your emotions. I really feel strongly like this might be a year where you guys are looking deeply at your emotions and kind of just reevaluating your emotions and your emotional state and how that has led you into, certain situations. This upcoming, that's how that's going. You know what I mean, how it's led you into certain situation over the past years, and being able to release that, and also being able to just meditate on it without judgment, without extra thoughts, without, any 2 cents, without additional input. You're just able to observe and be, Aquarius, because that really seems to be the ongoing theme for the year for you guys. It's just be, Saturn, Saturn is transiting along with a lot of you guys' sun. I can't say it's in conjunction, but it's transiting, with it, wherever your sun is, whatever house your sun is in. And once again, this is a general reading. So, if I had to go off of it, if I were to say for Aquarius, just based off the sun, your sun sign alone, Saturn's transiting in your first house. So this really is reevaluation of self. It's not quite like release of self in the 12th house. This is, you're reforming and redoing self. And as we know with Saturn tends to put the restrictions and the boundaries up. So Saturn is restricting certain old habits, certain ways of doing things. He's no longer allowing that to be a theme for you guys anymore. So you have to embrace that. You have to put the work in with Saturn so that he's not toppling you over. Okay? So let's go ahead and pull your 12 cards for the 12 upcoming months of the year. All right. So um, for January here, we have the Hanged Man. It looks like, you know, at the beginning of the year, you guys are already starting off the year in a very strong surrender, a strong state of surrender. You guys have surrendered to something, possibly to a higher power. You have surrendered to a situation. You are no longer trying to force your will into this situation anymore. You're no longer trying to force or assert your will over something anymore. You're just surrendering and kind of just like how he's doing in this, spreading your arms open, just opening up and letting it do what it will. You know, January really is a month where you guys and the thing about us fixed signs is that we really can dig our heels in on certain things, and surrender for us is a little bit harder than it is for other signs. And you know, especially when we get fixated on something that we think should be working a certain way, but it looks like with January and with the new year calling, you guys are just definitely in that mind state where you're just like, I am completely surrendering to this. And this also speaks of like a penance type of attitude. You guys are putting yourselves under penance, and I feel like the penance is coming from past actions where you have observed the things that you've done in the past, and it's really making you rethink yourself. And you also being co-ruled by Saturn, and you know, understanding that need for discipline, and not quite in the same capacity as Capricorn, but you guys understand it. To some extent, I feel like this is you guys disciplining yourself, forcing yourself to surrender so you can learn the lesson of discipline. I don't know if that may apply for only a few of you guys, where it could be a kind of like I want to say a backwards train of thought for it, where you're just like willfully surrendering out of a place to punish yourselves. But really, you don't have to do that. You know, it doesn't quite, I'm not going to say it doesn't work like that, because I am nobody to tell you of the ways that it works, but it doesn't have to be that difficult, you know. And then for some of you guys, you're in a state of surrender to gain a new perspective about yourself or about the situation at hand. And what I can see that's a dominating feature is the fact that the sun is setting on this situation. So, you know, whatever situation you guys are in, you've surrendered to it, you're gaining a new perspective of it, and the sun is setting on it. This situation is coming to a close. So we're already starting off the year in a place where things are about to come to a close. So for you guys are definitely in a situation that's coming to a close, because February, when Aquarius season rolls around, you guys are already in a place where your spirit is moving on to broader perspectives. This is definitely, Eight of Wands speaks to motion. You guys are going to be in motion. Your passions are going to be moving forward towards something else, away from this situation that you've already surrendered to. You've put yourself in the mindset that this is just, you know, I've surrendered to this, it is what it is. And in February, you're kind of in a place where you're just like, okay, now you kind of get that cosmic green light to move on and move forward with yourselves. And especially like with the dolphins and in the ocean here, the dolphins are some of the smartest amphibian creatures amongst all of them. Dolphins are extremely intelligent. Dolphins can speak to each other through frequencies, through wavelengths. So, you know, your frequency may be increasing for the month of February, where you guys will be receptive enough to get that message from spirit, or, you know, from whomever your guiding source is, and finally get that green light to be able to take that leap of faith and really move on towards what it is that you are seeking, Aquarius. So let's go ahead and look at March. And it looks like you guys might be moving on into, you're either moving on with a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer energy here, because you have the King of Cups. I'm getting like a older, a mature, older water sign who's kind of been through some stuff. for, you know, I'm getting mostly, you know, male dominant, more Cancer like vibes than anything. You guys are moving toward this, moving along, and in March moving on with this water sign here. Or you guys could be moving into a heightened state of emotional awareness. You could be moving on into a more mature state of emotions. You guys may experience mastery over your emotions in March, because as we know, with that mastery over emotional state, a lot of the time, unfortunately, that mastery, especially with emotions, comes after, you know, painful lessons have been learned. And I feel like 2020 may have been wrought with a lot of painfully new lessons, lessons that you're not used to, you may not have been used to going through, Aquarius, and you're coming into 2021 with that attitude of surrender, of just surrendering. And with that, you know, surrender to those lessons, surrender to situations, you find yourself in this place, in this space in March, where after surrendering, after learning the lessons emotionally, you are very, you're very accomplished, you know, you are quite accomplished in mastering your emotions by this point in March. And that's just for some of you. For others of you, this could definitely be you moving on with the water sign. Okay, so for April, for some reason, you guys are getting Five of Pentacles for April. So for April, this could be you guys may be leaving somebody out in the cold, or maybe getting forced to leave somebody behind while you move forward to work on yourself, or you are being left behind. Somebody has decided that they no longer want to stick it out and work things out with you. So Five of Pentacles, or there could be, the nice part about Five of Pentacles is that it's a court card, so it's not a major arcana. That doesn't speak to a major shift in things happening. It really is a minor setback, you know, and you could very easily bounce back from it. So in April, what you guys may end up experiencing is, you know, a minor setback with finances. So you guys want to kind of be prepared for that. Maybe, you know, put some savings off to the side so that when April comes around, you guys are able, you got a little bit of a cushion for this fluctuation in finances that are taking place. I honestly feel like it's more of a financial deal than anything else that is affecting you, Aquarius. All right, so let's look at what's going on for May. Yeah, I really feel like it's more of a financial deal, or, you know, it could be financial, it could be a temporary thing where you and your partner just kind of take some temporary time away from one another. But, you know, in May, what's showing up is emotional fulfillment. To me, we're going to clarify these cards to see exactly where you are, exactly what this emotional fulfillment means. But to me, in terms of this emotional fulfillment, I do definitely feel like it's in a relationship. There's going to be an emotionally fulfilling relationship, or you and your partner are finally going to be at a place where you can feel fulfilled with one another in this relationship after lots of fluctuation. So that's definitely what's coming up in May. And then in June, you guys have the Hermit. So what I feel like is that you guys are going to be focus on a lot of the small details, kind of cleansing out things, a lot of those finer things that may be taking up too much space, that don't belong in the picture at this point. You guys are really coming through with the scythe and kind of just cutting out the weeds, weeding out things that just don't belong, and you're kind of following your own wisdom in June. So June is a month where you guys are turning inwards, and you're really like cleaning up some things internally as well as externally, and you're following the light of your own, you're following the way of your own lamp. You know, you hold your own lamp, you're following your own wisdom, you're kind of foraging your own path, and you're doing this in a major way. And also there is the possibility of Virgo energy coming in June, and we'll pull clarifiers to see what it is that this Virgo energy is bringing. Let me just, what is this Virgo energy bringing for Aquarius in June? Clarify June for Aquarius. Okay. Yeah, like this is definitely more of you guys facing your own duality and taking your life into your own hands. Like I said, really following your own wisdom and being your own acting force, because this is the Chariot. It speaks to moving forward and moving on. So, you know, with the Hermit, you're deciding to take a solo leap of faith on yourself, where you really are just moving towards greater, moving towards your goals, relying on your own wisdom, relying on your own faith, relying on yourself, Aquarius, like literally. So let's see what happens in July. All right, and in July you guys have the Hierophant. So to me, that tells me that you guys are going to be in a place where, after taking some time for yourself, you are now ready to commit. You're ready to commit to this cause. You're ready to commit to this person or situation, whatever it may be, because you've taken that time and space away to really further evaluate what it is that you actually really want, Aquarius. And you've given yourself the green light to maybe travel, to just really take space and time for yourself and invest in your own energy. Because yeah, you guys once again have the Eight of Wands. You have the Eight of Wands that's clarifying the Hierophant. So what I honestly feel like with that clarifier, I'm going to retract. I'm not going to retract. For some of you guys, you will decide to have a commitment. Like, you will decide to spiritually move towards this commitment. But for a lot of you guys, you won't, after taking the time to yourself, even though the situation has been bringing you emotional fulfillment. It brought you emotional fulfillment in May. And then in June, you felt the need to isolate and take time for yourself and do your own thing and really rely on your own wisdom. In July, you guys get the Hierophant, but you also get it accompanied by the Eight of Wands. So I feel like for some of you guys, spiritually, you have already moved forward from this. You knew back in February that your passion was no longer there. Your passion was for this situation was already drained. So in July, you guys are making the choice to not commit. And this could be in dealing with a Taurus, or just committing to something that is of a much higher level or a much higher anticipation than you expected. So you just know that this is something that you can't follow through with right now, Aquarius. So in July, I feel like for some of you guys, you decide to make that commitment and take that step. For others of you, you decide to, move on and move forward from it. Either way, this year for you guys has a lot of motion forward. You guys are on the move this year. I see a whole lot of movement that's taking place, which is why, doing that grounded work, going back to your elemental card depth and how it said to look underneath the surface, to evaluate things more before you rush into them. You guys are moving a lot, and you're really being called to evaluate the situation more and to be more conscious. Saturn is urging you to be conscious. Saturn is urging you to meditate. Saturn is urging you to put in the work towards your meditation so that you don't move yourself into a situation that you regret, okay? And I feel like in June, you guys definitely do that. And in June, some of you guys do that. And some of you guys don't. And, in July, some of you guys choose to stick with this situation. And others of you decide not to. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at August. Yeah. definitely for those of you guys who decided not to stick with that situation, even for you guys who decided to stick with it, it's new beginnings. Like August really is speaking to new beginnings. You're forging a new path. With the Fool card here, you're taking a leap of faith. And then even behind the Fool, he has the Falcon that is watching, and the Falcon has the sharpest vision out of all of the birds. The Falcon, you know, I forget what they say about the Falcon's sight. You know, literally it's like 20, 20, 20, 20. And it's just, you know, you guys have that supreme vision behind you, but you also have spirit watching over you while you take this leap of faith into your future. So let's pull clarifier for that. What is Aquarius taking a leap of faith on? What is Aquarius taking a leap of faith on? Okay. Yep, you're taking a leap of faith on closing out the cycle. So whatever situation or person you were dealing with, I feel like closing the cycle between you and this situation is going to be an all summer long type of deal. You're really going to like go through it in your mind. You're going to go through it in your emotional sphere before you physically walk away from it. But I feel like all the way in February, you guys have already figured out that you don't want to, you know, endure this situation anymore. So I feel like for those of you guys who kind of connect the dots on that already, in August, that's when you guys are definitely going to take action here, because these are two action cards. The World symbolizes the cycle closing. Closing is a state of action. Closing is endings. This is beginning. You're taking a new beginning. You're taking a leap of faith on ending a situation here. And the World card, you know, it has Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. And these are all of the fixed symbols. So for us, literally taking that leap of faith and closing out cycles for us, because we really are the ones who tend to get more rooted and more stuck in the mud than the other signs do, because we're fixed. And, you know, for you to take that chance and say, you know what, this cycle has completed itself. I've learned everything I could from it. It is time for me to move forward. It seems like that is what's going to happen for you guys in the month of August. So let's look at September. Yeah, and then with September, you guys have the Page of Pentacles. So in September, I feel like in August, you guys are going to close out this cycle on a situation. And in September, you're going to plant seeds for, you know, for what's to come ahead. So you guys definitely, toward the end of the year, in the final quarter of the year, I say in the final third of the year, you guys are now finally moving forward away from this situation that kind of looks like it's had you tied up for 2020 and for a good part of 2021. But by the time September comes around, you guys are, you know, you've made a firm decision to move forward for yourselves and plant seeds for yourselves. So I want to see what seeds you guys are planting. Okay. So you guys got Eight of Swords as far as the seeds that you're planting. But I feel like with that, I feel like it's planting the seeds to really like work on your mental health and further evaluate and assess what it is within you that, you know, puts you in this situation that you felt like you had to close the cycle out of. For some of you guys, you will have to be cautious as to not be in your mind too much and to not doubt yourself too much. And that's where that meditation comes in, and that focus and that depth comes in, not to overthink it, not to be in it so much that you can't pull yourself up out of it. Because even though it looks like she's bound and tied up here, she really isn't. The ropes around her are very loose. She can easily shrug it off and take the eye coverings off and keep it pushing. So Aquarius, you guys have options to, you know, because I feel like in September you're gonna finally be free. You're really very free, like super fucking free of a situation that you already knew was over in February. And you are finally physically free of it, and you are finally able to physically plant seeds. The thing about it is that you guys have to be very careful to not overthink it. There is the balance between thinking it through and overthinking it. It's a fine line, okay? So let's look at what's going to take place for you guys in October. Okay, so it looks like in October, you guys may have new love coming around. God damn. Y'all don't wait for nobody. You guys, it looks like in October for some of you guys, there may be new love coming around. And for those of you guys who decided to commit to this person or situation, you're finally going to be working your way or getting your way through that rough patch and kind of getting back to the love. Or Aquarius, for you guys, for those of you who just decided to walk away, this could signify you turning that love within yourself. You're in the new beginning stages of really learning how to love yourself and depend on yourself in a way that you kind of sought to depend on others outside of yourself for. So you guys are in that really beginning, beautiful stage of self-love, and you're really, really learning the actual truth of what self-love is and how that looks for yourself. So let's go ahead and clarify this Two of Cups for Aquarius. Let's clarify Two of Cups for Aquarius. Yeah, because you guys have decided to move on into yourselves. You're forging your own path and you're learning how to do that. So you're just in the beginning stages, and this is a very emotional process for you. I feel like there's going to be a lot of crying and a lot of tears in October, because I'm feeling like, everything that's taking place as far as the redundancy and the repetitiveness of situations like this is finally going to catch up to you in October. You're going to really feel that you're going to be full of the feels in October, and that is okay, because they want you to feel this. Spirit wants you to feel this so that you guys can stick to your path hardcore, and you really can, develop that sense of self, have a strong development in self, so that you're not looking back, because this person, he's not looking back. Eight of Cups signifies moving onwards. That's like the Eight of Cups is a smaller octave, a smaller vibration of the Hermit. The Hermit is the big vibration, that big solo energy. Eight of Cups is a smaller vibration of it, but because you already did such a huge leap of it back in June, you guys in October, I feel like in June you did it from a practical standpoint. In October you are now experiencing it from an emotional standpoint, and really experiencing what it is to be solo in your mission on an emotional level. Because in June, even though I feel like on a physical level you did so, you still kind of had the emotional backing of the situation or this partner, so you didn't quite feel the full effects of being on your solo journey yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at November. Yeah, November. See, this is really, really awesome, Aquarius, because it's saying that toward the end of the year, you guys are going to finally step into a place where you really get to know yourself deeply on an emotional level. All I see is a lot of cups. There's a lot of cups cards, so there's a lot of emotions taking place, a lot of complex emotions. When we dive into the realm of water, water is very intelligent, and water can also be very hard to track sometimes, because water can seep through even the smallest of cracks. Water can break down the strongest of elements. So, and you guys are learning this. You're learning that emotions that sit, emotions that stay, are eventually going to find their way to the surface the same way that water does, you know, and unless you just allow it to sit and do water damage. And you don't want that to happen, because that's when you get yourself into a place of being emotionally damaged. And we don't want that for Aquarius. You guys are too full of genius. You're too interconnected, and we need Aquarius. So, you know, but Aquarius also needs to learn about the nature of the water in which they bear, their own water that they bear, not the emotional waters that they bear for the collective or the world, okay? At this point, you have to become attached to your emotional state and understand it. And that's what it looks like is what's happening for the last quarter of 2021. So let's clarify that Seven of Cups. And if you guys are ever interested, like DM me or send me a message or leave a comment on, you know, underneath this video. I actually have a journaling prompt for Seven of Cups, because each cup represents a different area of our lives that we evaluate. And in Seven of Cups, it often speaks to self-evaluation and how we feel about the different areas of our lives that are taking place. And I feel like in November, this water sign may try to come back again, but you guys ain't fucking with them. You really not fucking with them. You got King of Cups twice, so I really do honestly feel like I said earlier in March. It's funny how you got King of Cups during both water seasons, in Pisces and in Scorpio season. And then for yeah, you guys got it in Pisces and in Scorpio season. So I feel like in both of these seasons, with that increased amount of water energy that's taking place, you guys, like I said, emotional mastery. And in order to master yourself emotionally, you must understand your emotions and how it is that you emotionally react to things. And I feel like there's always a great confusion when it's said to understand emotions, that you have to do something about how you deal with emotions. You don't necessarily have to do something just yet. You just need to understand and be observant enough to see how it is that you react to certain things that take place in life, and to see how you react and where it's coming from and why. And once you can really observe what's taking place, what's happening, how you're reacting, where the reaction is coming from, then you have an understanding. And then with understanding, you can go in to start repairing and undoing or redoing what it is that you have to do, Aquarius. It you know, it's like a lot of shit. People just like to complicate shit. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into December. Once again, you guys got that meditation card that came out from the advice of Saturn, Four of Swords. Four of Swords is speaking to meditation, putting things to rest, letting things go. So I feel like in December, you guys will kind of get that full circle where you'll finally be able to let things go, and you'll finally really understand the value of meditation. And by that point, you'll be more fluid in your emotions, because the Knight of Cups speaks to that fast moving emotion. So you'll be able to finally have a little bit of the freedom to move a little bit faster in terms of your emotions. And but you'll still be able to keep up with it, because now you'll be in the practice. You will have let some things go that will have no longer stagnated you from being able to process emotions as they're coming in. So that is you guys' reading for the upcoming year of 2021. I'm going to go ahead and pull one card here from my Urban Intellectuals deck to see what powerful Black woman you guys, you know, should, whose energy you guys should try to pay attention to and kind of utilize a little bit as you maneuver throughout the year. And for you guys got Billie Holiday. So, and she has, quite a few accomplishments. She was considered one of the best and most influential jazz vocalists of all time. Her legacy still influences jazz and many other genres to this day. Despite no formal music training, she developed new vocal techniques and was known for her unique vocal delivery and improvisational skills. She was discovered on the Harlem nightclub scene and signed in 1935. Her first hit, What a Little Moonlight Can Do, a collaboration with pianist Teddy Wilson, became a jazz standard. She has received 4 posthumous Grammy Awards, all for Best Historical Album. She herself was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1973. In 1972, the film adaptation of her autobiography, Lady Sings the Blues, she was portrayed by another legendary performer, Diana Ross. In 2000, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Diana Ross received the honor on her behalf. And I just feel like Billie Holiday's story, because I know from what I do believe she also had a very complex history. But like it pointed out, she was not classically trained. And I just feel like it indicates the point here that you don't have to be a professional in order to go within and understand and gain understanding on yourself and to further develop yourself for your own good. It's often made to seem quite more complicated than what it really is. Meditation always is made to seem more complicated than what it is. Understanding yourself is made to seem much more complicated than what it is. Even if you are the most complex person, it doesn't, you are you. You've lived with you from day one. So, it's simply taking that time out to just back up, make a U-turn up out of your emotions. And that's part of the mindfulness, being mindful and being on the journey of mindfulness. And I really feel like, people underestimate how it said with Billie Holiday, she was not classically trained, yet she developed so many new vocal techniques and was known for her unique vocal delivery and improvisational skills. And improv is such an amazing skill, but also developing new techniques in a tried and tested field is an amazing skill as well. And it takes a lot of awareness of self. It takes a lot of competition with self, a lot of understanding of self. And I feel like that's going to be kind of you guys' theme for the year, is to really understand yourself on an emotional level, because you guys are definitely like ending the year on a very emotional note, where you guys are looking in and really observing your emotions and what's taking place emotionally. So, and that's okay. That is okay, because you come out stronger. You come out much more aware. You come out much more, I feel like, much more developed. So, you guys take your time with it. Do what you got to do. And have a good year. Have a happy year. Have a prosperous year. Have a healthy year. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if you made it through the entire reading, I appreciate your support, your views. I appreciate you guys so very, very much. You guys have a good night. Ashe, I'll talk to you later.